Fáilte Clór Community Focus. Hello and welcome to the Community Focus programme on CavantTV.com. This programme is sponsored by Easons of Main Street Cavan and Pearse Street Mullingar. This programme is dedicated to all things community in County Cavan. If you would like to comment on the show or have your community initiative or issue featured, please email drumlinmedia@gmail.com. Now, on last week's show, we featured some highlights of 2012 and we're going to do the same again tonight. Let you recover after your Christmas. So we're going to show you some highlights from the year to date, well, from February of this year onwards, of the Community Focus show. We hope you enjoy.
So when you want to give this little wiggle, you take off a piece of hair.
Keep pulling. Keep pulling. That's how? Wow, look at that. Oh, sorry. I'll take them now. You're finished? Ooh, that's cool. Don't touch the plant.
Best thing to do, just keep it in your head. Thank you, make reshapes.
Wow! Oh, don't put that thing. Good girls. Wow. Good girls. Thank you very much. Come on, this way, girl. We'll come back to the... What are you going to sing and start it? You're going into the playground. You want me to bring you in? You okay there with him? Huh? Hello, how are you?
Creepy crawly. Who's going to find a creepy crawly?
No, we're talking about children here. I lay money children.
Right, you have to find a creepy crawly, guys. No, you have to leave that there for the lady to give. No, you have to find a creepy crawly.
It's kind of something like
No, creepy crawly is like a little tiny
worm,
spider.
or a slug, or a fly, or a woodlice. Ooh! Something really ooh!
Come on, let's find one. Go! If he's stuck here, look at. If he's stuck in the moss, we will find one.
And you can bring me some moss. You go in among the trees and see if you can find a dead leaf and some moss and we'll put it up.
Yeah.
Okay?
I'm gonna go sell something for it.
And Kildrum Conversion Church celebrated its bicentenary this year. And Patricia put together this fantastic booklet on the history of the church. So Patricia, we'll just start maybe a background to where the whole idea for putting this booklet came together.
The idea of the booklet. Well, as you mentioned, it was for the bicentenary. It is part of a chapter that's going to be another book for Crossalock that we hope to publish later on this year. And our clergy lady who has just left, Canon Liz McElhenney, decided that it would be nice to have something to celebrate this bicentenary and to put this into a booklet. And also as a fundraiser because we're doing up our rectory, our church house, and we need to get some funds for that. So it had a dual purpose.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And then a little bit of history about the church. This church, we first of all started using it in 1812.
Yes. Well, the original Church of Ireland church was down in Kill, which is just outside Kilnalek. And in 1804, it was decided down there the church was in bad repair down there, and costing too much money to repair, that they would build a new church on the glebe land. This was actually church land here, in the townland of Carrickacroy. And they would build a new church here, and it started in 1804. And it wasn't actually opened until 1812, in January 1812, when the first baptism was held.
And you have a record book and everything here showing the
baptism.
First baptism.
Yes, yeah, so 1812. So we have all the process of the building and the collecting of the money and how the money was collected from the houses and the loans that were got, and it's all very, very well recorded in all what they call the vestry books, in the minute books, and
you have them all, of course, in this booklet as
all
well.
All of that booklet,
yeah,
absolutely.
The people who actually collected, who did the fundraising, were actually paid, weren't they? Because
they were paid
so
to go. Yes, because at that time, well, when it started in 1804, they had to collect £120. Now that was for the whole year, and it was at 10 shillings per house. So they paid what's called the church wardens to go around and collect this money. Because they felt it was a big undertaking for them to do voluntary. And it's not like nowadays. Everyone does things voluntary. Yeah, so they got paid for doing this, yes.
Very good. And another interesting fact I saw in the book about that people were actually paid here by the church over keeping the bodies, that bodies weren't stolen from the church grounds.
That's correct, yeah. In those days, apparently, it was quite common to go into church graveyards and to steal bodies, and also to throw in bodies, mainly of orphan children then. And they were taken away, apparently I understand, for these bodies to be sold. So they had to employ men, and they had to pay the men, and they had to buy shot and guns and the whole lot to protect the graveyard outside from the bodies being stolen. And also that hence brought on the building of the wall outside the church to try and keep people from coming to steal the bodies, the church body. Apparently it was quite common in those days.
Mm-hmm. And that's again, you've all the records.
All recorded in that, yeah. And again, that was all recorded in the minute books of the vestry, and how much they were paid and how much the gunpowder cost and the guns and all. It's all recorded in this booklet.
It's brilliant.
Yeah.
We might just move down to the baptismal fountain. Yeah. Patricia has the records of all the baptisms here in the church, and you can see the first baptism recorded here is Susan Stevens,
yes,
on February the 2nd, 1812, and it's actually noted below it, beautiful handwriting, that this was actually the first baptism in the new church of Crosslough. Was the Cathaoirleach Awards. There was an award ceremony held on the 8th of June, wasn't it, in the Hotel Kilmore. So just can you tell me a little bit about the Cathaoirleach Awards, maybe how long they're running and what they involve?
The Cathaoirleach Awards have been running a number of years in Cavan County Council, and it's an award ceremony that's ran by the chairman of Cavan County Council and the Strategic Policy Committee of Community and Social. Then when we got our new Cathaoirleach 2 years ago, Sean McKiernan, he decided he wanted to revamp the whole award ceremony and bring it a bit more, rather than just having a very staid ceremony in the council chamber. He wanted to make it into much more of a night of celebration and bring it out into the community and have a bit of crack, and so that the people that were nominated would get far greater recognition.
So it used to just take place in the council chamber?
That's right, but last year we had a function in the Cavan Crystal, and this year we had the function in the Kilmore, and there were over 260 people at it, and it was a very, very good night's entertainment.
Fantastic. Huge crowd there. And would you, I don't know, like there's certain categories, isn't there, that you can nominate, or do you nominate people?
Yeah. The process is the nominate people could nominate through our website online, or they could nominate through ads that were placed in the Anglo-Celt and the local media. Okay. And there was 5 categories. There was active age, there was social inclusion, sports, community and youth. And we had 27 nominations, and we had 5 winners in each category, and then we had an overall winner who won €1,000 for his community, of his organisation of choice.
Oh, fantastic. So there was a nice reward.
There was a reward of sorts. I mean,
but
people,
it's just nice to get the
Yeah.
recognition, really, isn't it, for people who volunteer?
Yeah, I think it's important that people, that it's not just about winning in your category or winning the overall award. It's about sometimes people can work for years in their community and never the community don't take time out just to say well done, give them a bit of a clap in the back, small bit of recognition. And I think it's important that we do recognise the important work that these people do and the fantastic work that they do in the community.
Absolutely. Like, there's a lot of volunteers doing huge work, in communities now at the moment. And it is nice when they can be acknowledged and when awards do exist to acknowledge that. And I think even for some people just being acknowledged, just to be nominated was fantastic. Was everyone let know that they were nominated, or was...
Yeah, everybody was contacted and all the 27 nominees were awarded certificates on the night. It's only a small token gesture. I don't think people get involved in order to be acknowledged, but it is nice to be acknowledged for the good work that they do. And then with 5 category winners, and the category winner in the active age was Anne Campbell from Kilnalek Social Services, and Anne has been involved in Kilnalek Social Services since 1988, since its inception, and she's held various roles, and she's a tireless
very
worker
active in the community there, yes, a
fantastic ambassador for Kilnalek. And then in the sporting section we had JJ Riley, the winner from Cavan Gales, and JJ has been involved with Cavan Gales both as a player, coach and administration. He's coached teams in Cavan Gales from under 10 right up to under 21 and has done tremendous work, and it was important that people like him do get recognition.
When you put in that amount of time that will go involved in that training and the amount of years I'm sure that he's put in there.
Yeah, and then in the social inclusion category we had the Good Morning volunteers from Positive Age who keep contact with older people in the county who are vulnerable, and they contact them, they man phones, they ring up and check up on them, which in this current climate is a fantastic service to be done on a voluntary basis.
Yeah, I think with regard to it, there's a lot of cutbacks within the health sector, that, and public health nurses don't have that time really to spend with a lot of older people. Their time is so limited, and they're very, very busy. So it is lovely, that older people can have that contact.
I think it gives them a sense of security,
absolutely.
And that there's somebody somewhere looking out for them, and it fills that gap that's unfortunately present in the public services at the moment.
And it's a non-intrusive service as well.
Yeah.
Because it's a phone call, they sign up to it, they don't, and then it's, of course, it doesn't cost the older people anything, which is great as well.
And then in the youth section, the winner was Ciara Smith, 17 years of age, from Cavan Town. Now, Ciara only took up boxing 5 years ago, and in that time she's won 2 senior titles. She's represented Ireland in world competitions, and she's just back from China, where she was desperately unlucky not to have qualified for the Olympics. And she's a fantastic ambassador for not just boxing but for the youth of the county, and a great personality, and definitely somebody we'll be hearing much more of in the future.
Absolutely, I'm sure. Yeah. Fantastic. And was that all the categories?
No, the final category was the community category, and that was Ned Duffy from the Virginia Agriculture and Show Society.
Right.
And Ned is involved with a plethora of organisations. He's been involved with the Show Society since, I think it was 1981.
It's quite a big show, isn't it? The Virginia show would be well known.
It's a national standard show. It's a credit to them. I mean, they've been going since the 40s, but they've been growing every year. And Ned was one of the founders or behind the Bailey Cow competition, which is now a national standard competition. He was chairman and secretary of Rammer United Gaelic Football Club. He is involved with the board of management with Virginia College, and he's on the board of Lakeland Dairies. I mean, ceaseless worker for the community, and in fairness, he won the overall award, and well deserved to him. Very worthy.
Sound like he's any time for himself.
No, he definitely gives a lot of work to the community, and a very worthy winner.
Fantastic. So he won the €1,000
for Virginia, for the Virginia Agricultural Show Society.
I was about to say, how could he choose who he was going to give it to?
So, well, he was nominated by the nominating organisation, so the cheque goes to the nominating organisation.
Fantastic. So he'll have €1,000 more to spend at the show this year.
We look forward to seeing how they spend it.
Absolutely. So then I suppose there's a lot of other events that you're involved in and that are coming up within the council this year.
Yeah, there's a couple of major events coming up that we'd like to highlight. I mean, on the 1st of July, we're having the launch of the Cavan World War I Roll of Honour, which is the Roll of Honour for all the Cavan men who died in the First World War. It's a part of our history that has often been forgotten.
Yeah, it's largely never really talked about, or, you know, a lot of, I wouldn't really have heard of anybody locally who's, you know, who served in World War One. It's surprising, but then it was one of the things that came out of the conversations that we had and the research that we done in it. There was we've discovered that there was 652 Cavan men who died in the First World War. Really?
That's who we've uncovered to date. We reckon the figure could be closer to 800. It was a tragic part of Irish history that's probably quite often forgotten about, and these were men from all different segments of Cavan society, Catholic, Protestant, rich and poor, that went off to fight for various reasons and never came back. And I suppose it's now is the appropriate time to start remembering them in some shape or fashion, and we're having the Minister of Justice and Defence down on the 1st of July to officially launch the Roll of Honour, and we're having Miles Dungan, whose granduncle actually is from Ballybor and he died in the First World War in 1916. We're having the Irish Army Band and the Cavan Rugby Choir, so it'll be quite a nice ceremony in the Town Hall at 12:30 on the 1st of July.
1st of July. And is that open to everybody to attend?
Yeah, it's open to everybody to attend. We've had a great response. We have there's various ambassadors coming down, the Belgian ambassador is coming down, the German ambassador, there's representatives from the British and American, New Zealand and Australian embassy. So there's quite a lot of interest, not just in Cavan, but in the wider country as well.
That's brilliant.
Yeah.
That's really, really interesting. I'm sure it'll be a great event.
Hopefully be a good,
Yeah.
a good ceremony, you know.
It's good to acknowledge that. Also, the gathering. You are leading that, are you?
I'm the coordinator for the gathering. I suppose it's in Cavan. It's a national.
First of all, maybe just talk a little. I'm sure people have heard a lot about the gathering, and that's an event taking place next year, but people maybe don't really know what's involved within it. So if you can tell us a little bit about kind of what's involved within the gathering.
Well, I suppose the idea of the gathering first started last year in the economic forum that was held in Farmley House in Phoenix Park. And what it is basically, there's 70 million Irish diaspora. There's an awful lot of goodwill towards Ireland, this country, and it's one means of tapping into it. People can have relatives abroad who haven't came back in years. There can be people who's third, fourth, fifth generation Irish who consider them Irish, and it's maybe a way of reaching out to them and saying, come back to Ireland, come back to your roots, and we'll show you a good time. I mean, there is the economic and tourism aspect to it, you know, and we're hoping, nationally it's hoped that we will generate about 170 million extra tourism revenue and 325,000 extra visitors to Ireland. So every organisation is getting involved. Aer Lingus are promising to keep their prices reasonable, and for people, say for bands that might be coming back, they will fly their musical instruments for free. So there's every organisation at every level has come on board. And I suppose what we're going to be doing on the 11th of July is we're going to hold a public meeting in Cavan with representatives from the gathering and Bord Fáilte, and we're throwing that open to the people of the county to get their ideas and what events can we put on in Cavan that we can make the gathering, that we can give part of this package that's happening in.
So that's the 11th of July?
11th of July at 7
Kilmore.
o'clock in the Kilmore, yeah.
At 7 o'clock. So you're asking members of the public can come to this event. You'd very much welcome them to come to the event, particularly people with good ideas.
The more, I mean, I think it's important to emphasise that there's no such thing as a bad idea.
Yeah.
Every idea is good, and it's maybe we trash them out and we can see how we can bring those good ideas, bring them up to the next level and bring them to fruition and make 2013 a year to remember for Cavan tourism.
Absolutely, and all ideas are welcome. And everyone's asked to attend.
The more the merrier, definitely, yeah.
We don't want people complaining next year. I never got asked to you know, that they weren't involved in an event or weren't given an opportunity to show, to give their ideas towards something.
Yeah, it's not like it starts from even very simple ideas that you may have a long lost relative, you may have a second cousin in New York that you haven't seen in your years, and you say come back to Ireland for your birthday or come back for a gathering. We'll have a Caslin family reunion and get 30 people back. You can, like the GA are very much involved in it. They're talking about putting on a special competition in Crow Park. It's about...
So people can come up with their own ideas like that, use it as a year for a family reunion.
Well, that's one aspect to it. There's any festival that's having any events that's happening in 2013 that you put, if you like, you gatherise it, you put a sort of a gathering twist to it, and you try and get an international flavour onto it that you will attract more people to the festival. So it's basically building on what's happening, the good work that's being done in the community and by businesses in the county to market Cavan that little bit better.
As a place for business and pleasure.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Brilliant. I'm joined now by Kathy Smith, Seamus's wife.
Yeah.
Kathy, how's this progress so far? I know we're here waiting for him at the cathedral at 11 this morning, so what's the progress so far with him?
He's doing great. He's got a lot of support. He's had people out from Minolti clubs and Virginia clubs, and he's got his brother Matty behind in the support car, and Matty's wife Catherine ahead of him in another support car. There was Yanis from work who's also was in the support car. So yeah, he's doing great. He had a bit of a problem in the night with his eye streaming, so it was hard
quite
to
cold
see.
Last night, yeah.
And it was very, very cold. I think they registered something like 2 degrees at about 5 o'clock this morning, so yeah, very cold, but yeah, actually, even though they're a little bit behind schedule, they're doing well. They're riding in formation. Don't know the technical term, I'm sure there is one, but riding in formation at the moment, so they're making good speed now.
Well, he really, I suppose, has the hardest part of it over. I mean, the night, cycling through the night had to have been very, very tough.
Yes, I think
Were you worried last night?
I was, yes. I haven't had much sleep. So I think the objective was to get the Cork Mountains out of the way before it got too dark, and I think they did achieve that. And then it was steady progress through the night. They had, somebody was joining him at Limerick, which is great. Someone actually on a bike.
All right.
So for the really tough times, kind of the between 12 and kind of 4 and 5, which is a very, very hard time where it's still very dark and obviously wanting to go to sleep, he had support on the road as well as in the car, so that's brilliant. And I mean, I can't tell you how many people have been waiting by the side of the road this morning with bikes ready to join in.
Brilliant.
Yeah, we saw them. We've met up with them in Ballymahon and also Edgeworthstown. We've been following them, and he has wonderful support. So thank you to everybody who's come out to support and here today as well.
Absolutely. But he's got most of the journey. What is it, about 400 kilometres the journey over with at this stage then?
Do you know, I haven't got a clue. I'm not sure what it is. I don't know what it is up to this point, but time-wise,
home stretch anyway.
Yeah, he is definitely, and daylight, which is the big thing. So yeah, on now to Enniskillen, Omagh, and then up to Donegal.
Has he got a Donegal jersey?
I'm not sure. I've washed so many different coloured jerseys that I'm sure he's got something in his, you know, the right colours somewhere in the box in the car. So. Yeah, so
I'll let you go back and join the rest of the group here, and we'll wait for Seamus to arrive. Now I'm joined by Olivia and Rory, Seamus's son and daughter. So, are you looking forward to seeing your dad arrive here?
Yeah.
Yeah? Do you miss him? But is he a great cyclist?
Yeah.
Yeah? Olivia, has he put a lot of work and effort into this?
Yeah, he has. He's been practicing and he's been cycling the whole time, and he
Got you out cycling?
yeah, me and Rory go out cycling with him sometimes, yeah.
I'm now joined by Seamus, or James, what should I call you?
I don't care at this point.
Call you anything.
Yes, definitely.
How are you getting on? How do you feel? You're 2/3 the way there now.
2/3. I'm feeling good now. I've had a great lead in there from Athlone.
You have a lot of support around you.
All the guys turned up in Athlone. It's been fantastic and came along with me there, and I've been well looked after.
So you've a lot of support on the road since Athlone, yeah.
Brilliant. And even I have to say, along the way, there was people in County Cork tooting the horn, and it's been absolutely fantastic. So it's been an adventure.
CART is one of 34 rural transport projects around the country, and CART covers, obviously the name tells you, is the geographical area of County Cavan. Now we have our sister organisations. There's Baltybus in Monaghan, there's Flexibus in Meath, and there's a project also in North Longford, or Longford, it used to be North Longford. We're a transport provider. We're a public transport provider, even though I suppose the image that most people think of the rural transport is older people. Now, most of our passengers are older, but it is a public transport service.
So it's available for everyone, and it's more than just
Yes.
services for older people then.
It is indeed, yes. We accept the free travel pass. I suppose that's where people get the idea that it's for older people. But we also charge fares for people that are paying it. Now, our passenger profile would be from the very old to the very young. We do an after schools project. We do a transport for an after schools project. We do school transport for colleges, for Cavan Institute here in Cavan.
So
And we
people are
also,
bringing people from their homes to the college, and
indeed,
vice versa.
yes, indeed, it's in West Cavan that service is coming from. And we also do general services, which operates every day of the week. Mostly our routes operate only one day a week, but we service an every day that operates from different parts of the county. Some of them into the county town, some into the local town to allow people to get their shopping, post offices, etc. The projects, the Rural Transport Programme was initially, the Rural Transport Initiative was set up to tackle social exclusion and isolation. And from that there, it sort of built up, and now with all the budget cuts we're having, the sort of the social inclusion and isolation end of it has really been forgot about, more towards trying to get them people on buses, that you're using a bus service that's nearly full. Like a lot of our services are operating at near capacity, so they're full most days that come in, or very close to full.
And you'd imagine that social exclusion is something that is becoming more and more prevalent now with the latest census stats and the rising unemployment, and it's showing that deprivation levels, are going down. There's increasing deprivation.
Indeed, and we'd also find that there's people that used to have 2 cars are now having 1 car because they just can't afford the second car. And then you'd have younger families using it to actually get the groceries and that there, because other persons away at work, and they're sort of prioritising why they're using the vehicle. Also, initially it was a lot of older people using it, so they didn't have to depend on lifts, and that's quite important now. They can get into the local post office, get their benefits, do the local bits of shopping, etc.
So it gives people independence.
It
without
definitely does.
You know what? People feel a lot of the time, that they may be putting family out or neighbours out by looking for lifts. So it's given a lot of older people that little bit of independence.
Indeed, and we carried out research a number of years ago, and I always remember the researcher always enjoyed being on the bus. He says, get off a bus service. I dropped him onto a bus service so we could speak to the passengers. He got off the bus here, but he says, that's like an episode of Carnation Street. There's all really different storylines in there you can hear. And you hear there's people that don't like each other, and they're gossiping about different people.
Yeah.
So sometimes it can be interesting to sit in the back of the bus to listen to all that's happening around the countryside.
So I suppose it's a source of community as well for the people. Getting on the bus, meeting their friends.
Indeed,
our enemies, as you say. But it is that whole communication and being part of the community and having
again,
independence.
It's I suppose we've seen it there. Sometimes we had one of the passengers that usually was on the bus wasn't out, so they went to investigate, and the person had actually fallen the previous night, and only the driver went to investigate where they were.
Yeah.
Then they would be able to get help. The bus just tips on about its business, and once they know everything's all right. And, you get phone calls, have you seen such and such, we haven't talked to them in a while. And we had one example when the clocks changed, the passenger got the bus, never changed their watch, and everybody was looking for them, couldn't find them. So they were oblivious that the clock at the time had changed. So the bus was ready to go, and they were still thinking, half an hour left.
Yeah.
So there'll be funny wee stories as well, but it's great to see people out and about. It really helps local businesses. You see local shops there.
Absolutely, yeah.
Getting busy at that time. We have a couple of bus services that comes into Tesco. You see all the tills now; they'll be all manned at just before 1 o'clock because everybody's trying to get out ready for the bus.
Yeah.
So it's helping local businesses. It's keeping money in their own local area.
Yeah, which is great and more important than ever now.
Yes, indeed.
Yeah,
And
that
again, from the employment end of it, we don't own our own vehicles. We contract in private vehicles.
The Ballyconnell Excavator Challenge. The challenge took place at this weekend. So, how did they get on? Well, Cavan TV were there to record all the action. So we have a short clip and take a brief maybe 10-minute look at how they got on last weekend.
Yeah, he left just he's only there on this.
We're actually going to show the moment now where the digger was taken out of the ground.
Okay, Laura, so we had fireworks as well then.
So there was also some fireworks in the evening after the excavator being removed from the ground. Just take a brief look at that. The next clip we will look at there's the people who were involved in the charity dig out. They wanted to thank the people. Obviously they had got a lot of support collecting for a number of different charities, and they wanted to thank all the people that were involved and had supported it, and also those that had participated on the day and were involved in the challenge.
Couple of days hard work.
We're very happy, so we are. Very relieved and very tired.
Very dirty.
And very dirty. Looking forward to a pint.
Yeah, 2 very long days yesterday and today, but a successful one.
We're more than happy. And if the man that wants a spanner back wants it, we have his spanners. We have a chap rang us looking for his spanners back 2 weeks ago. So we have his spanners now if he wants them.
So from a sponsorship point of view and support to the charity, also very successful.
Absolutely very successful. Absolutely. We're very, very happy. We've got so much support from so many people. We couldn't nearly start to thank them. It's been brilliant. I'd like to say one thing. I'm being a bit selfish here. I want to thank the Civil Defence boys for coming and supporting the river. The Erne River Rescue, isn't it? Search and Rescue. The first aiders. And there's so many people, we'd only offend people if we started this. And we're very, very happy to have it all back.
I was quite visible from the day, both from a machinery point of view, from personnel, from every form of support. You were given brilliant support both today and yesterday.
It's been incredible. Absolutely incredible.
I just want to thank all the machine men and all the spin machines and that time and everything.
And some travel quite a distance to be here for this occasion. And we hope to see you as part of our in Cavan TV some of the days whenever you get maybe a bath or a shower or something, and we'll hopefully when you announce the funds that you've raised for charity. So thank you all.
Thanks, Sean.
I hope you enjoyed those highlights from 2012. Thanks for watching the show, and we look forward to bringing you more programmes from CavanTV.com in 2013.